So we are live. Welcome to another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. And I always bring you champion. And today we're talking to a champion, young leader, very dynamic, doing an extraordinary work, all over Africa and all over the world because he's making an impact. And as a global civility ambassador, but also as a global civility leader. And he has done so much. I'm just gonna refer to some of the work that is done. He's a world-renowned statesman for Youth Matter to I Change Nation USA. He has earned, numerous awards. He's really passionate about helping youth and young adult leaders achieve immediate and long-term success. And he's also an author. We're probably going to talk about this book because I think it's an important subject, of today. He has a book series called Stay Alive book series, and he's also the founder of Stay Alive Civility Global Summit and a partner of West Africa Disability Unify. So doing a lot of humanitarian work and being, a coach, a leader, and he has an extensive experience providing expertise on topics including suicide, mental health, life skill leadership, and he is really qualifying to those areas. He's a suicide prevention and awareness advocate, and he's been featured in some amazing magazines. He has, shared virtual space with some very well-known leaders, the like of Les Brown, Brian Tracy, Grant Cardone, and I just, not gonna list everybody. But so he is based in Lagos, and we will discover. We'll have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about what he has achieved. And today we're going to focus our conversation on global civility leadership, which is one of his core skill and where he has most of his experience making an impact all over the world. So I'm not going to stay long. You will have the opportunity to talk to him. He will introduce himself, and please come in, participate, because I know that you're going to learn so much from him. So have your pen, your paper, write down everything that is going to be shared, because I know that it's going to help you grow and to go to the next level of your greatness. And this show is all about greatness, and you're going to see greatness today. So sit tight and let us know where you're watching from. And like I said, do participate, give us your insight, ask questions. This show is for you. And we're really bringing all of this. I'm bringing all those champions, all those leaders for you, so that you can learn, so that you can grow, so that you can go to the next level of greatness. So let's start the show and bring my secret VIP guest today. Another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show, the show that is brought to you by the Birai Telekima Global Leadership Organization.
Feel is important is if you just look at the word compassion, when it's behavior, it's something that can be learned, and it is something that we can embody through habits and through our daily actions.
Like, what can I do now with this all experiences that that I have? And for me, it's knowing who I am, believing in myself, and trust and have confidence that yes, this has happened.
To get this idea that if we interject this wisdom intentionally, I call them needle movers. It's the needle mover that's missing.
I was getting my first computer when I went into undergrad, right? And so I think that stick with what you're passionate about. And if you're passionate about learning technology, you're in a great space because technology touches every industry.
So welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour show. I'm just ecstatic today because I've been trying to have you on the show for so long. You are a busy person, and I'm really happy to have this conversation today. But before we start our conversation on global civility leadership, just want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you do, and really the key thing that you think we should know and that has been highlighted, in your life so far.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I personally have been blessed by this show, a couple of shows that you've shared on your page. And I must say that I'm so honored and so excited to be here today. And first and foremost, my name is Akinyemi Samuel, popularly known in the circle of young people as Sam Ebube, and on the global stage as Sam Ebube. Sam Ebube, my journey began when I was on campus. I studied mechanical engineering, and I began to unleash some of the amazing potentials that is sitting inside of me. So first, music has been part of me. I believe that music is one of the ancient tools that has been used to foster and to to also help people to navigate through life issues, and it has been one of the major catalysts for healing and change. So I started off with music. So one of my first album was released in 2009, and one of the key songs on the album, Kabiosi, became a household song in the Christian circle. And in 2015, I decided to speak for the voiceless. I decided to be a voice for the voiceless. There was this major catastrophe crisis that happened in Nigeria, in the northern states of Nigeria. We had the incident of Boko Haram, where this group decided to start bombing every community, every city, and it becomes one of the major. It becomes a global issue for Africa, because whatever affects Nigeria affects Africa as a whole. So, and I released this song titled Peace and Unity in commemoration to International World Peace Day in September 21st. And this song went viral, became #1 top chart on MTN Music Plus Play Store Music. And MTN bought into the song, and the song was used as a mandatory user tune for everyone living in the northern state of Nigeria. So, and I was so fulfilled seeing my music being a tool for change across the nation. So in 2017, I recorded a song titled One Love, One World. Now, I was looking from a global plus perspective. Like, I decided to look at what was happening in the Iran, in Syria, as well as other African countries and nations across the earth. So I realized that all that is needed is one love. because with love we can overcome every challenges. Now let's look at the pandemic that erupted last year, 2020. The whole world was shut down, and the only thing that could help us out was that love. You can imagine nations that has been clamoring for wars, everybody was on stillness, and everyone was now looking for solutions. So we all looked out for this solution together, and look at how we are coming out victoriously out of this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I recorded this song, One Love, One World, in 2017. And in 2020, this song won the World Civility Song of the Year, 2020. And the video was shot in Kenya, Nairobi. And this song became a hit song for the global perspective that I have in mind. And I'm so happy about that. And in May 2020, I was appointed as a national statesman for youth to ICN Nations USA after we had a youth global summit. And this has actually pitched Sam Ebube on another stage where I speak with a lot of youths all across the world. This office enables me to speak to young people and to also advocate for them, be a voice for the voiceless, be a voice for the youth all across the world. And during the pandemic times that we had last year, 2020, I realized that suicide is one of the leading cause of death among youth. By United Nations, it says in every 40 seconds, someone somewhere is committing suicide. So which raised the total figure to 800,000 people die to suicide every year across the world. So this is, to me, this is a pandemic. There is a suicide pandemic raging around the world, but people are not speaking about it. So this is the best time for us to create a global awareness. So that was how I created, under the leadership of Satellite Rivers, I created Stay Alive Civility. It's a global initiative that addresses some of these issues and also help young people to stay alive purposefully, and because I believe this will help them to be a better version of themselves. And as time goes on, you know, so many openings around the world, I began to look more into how to communicate my thoughts to young people of this dispensation and the generations to come. I decided to put up books, Stay Alive books. It's a series. I have volume 1 already. I have volume 2 out already, which become an international best-selling book, which actually gave me the title International Best-Selling Author. And presently, I'm working on the Stay Alive Volume 3, which will be released in September in commemoration to International World Suicide and Prevention Month. And I actually looked into the civility approach to leadership, and I realized that there are a lot of issues with leadership. Now, how do we provide solution? As Dr. Clyde would say, he says, Sam, wherever you get to, there is already a huge problem all across the world. It is your responsibility to provide a solution. So I have a solution to helping young people be a better version of themselves in terms of leadership, in terms of life skills, in terms of when you talk about everything that will help them be a better version of themselves. And this is what Sam Ebube, this is what I do. And I'm so excited that a few days ago I was awarded the Presidential Legacy Award by ICN Nation Champions, Challenge Champions and Heroes in United States of America. I am so excited. This is so awesome for me. It helps me to do more, to give more to my community and to the world at large. Thank you so much.
It's amazing. It's amazing. You know, when I look at what you've accomplished and what you continue to do and all this energy that you have to, like you said, to help the, youth to go to the next level of their greatness and become the best version of themselves. And one question that I have, because it's not an easy, it's not an easy thing to do. What do you think are the key things, really lacking for the different youth? I mean, it can be Nigeria because you work, internationally, for them to really become the best version of themselves, what are the key area where that you focus on to help them to at least be conscious of, what the gap that they have, but then help them to go to the next level?
Yeah, thank you so much. First and foremost, I would like to speak about what is really happening across the world. When you look at the world, you realize that we can't give what we don't have. You can only give what is within, because you are a product of your spirit, your soul, and your body. So this is linked together with our mindset. So first and foremost, as the young people all across the world, we need to look at what is that narrative. I call it the old narrative, because this is a season for us to shift into a new paradigm of thinking. And we need to look at, because if you look at it, you see that all across the world, when you look at the subcontinent that we have all across, you see that there are different cultures around. And this culture has affected a lot of people from moving ahead, from going to the next level. So we'll first of all look at some of these factors and how we can help people to shift their mindset from their old narrative to a new narrative. So I'm going to talk about, firstly, civility. Now, when we talk about leadership, now leadership is the influence or an action of leading a group of people or organization or an organization. Now, the state of position of being a true and genuine leader. Now, we're going to look at civility as one of the most active ingredients that will help you as a young emerging leader, youth, adolescent, to be a better version of yourself. Now, civility leadership starts with self-respect. This is one of the first things I would like to say. If you want to be a better version of yourself, you need to learn how to respect yourself. And respecting yourself means giving and defining your own worth. And defining your own worth simply means that you have to add value to yourself and value as a human being. Now, let's think about this. If you do not respect yourself as a young people, as an emerging leader, now look at it. It will be more difficult for you to respect anyone else. So you can only give what you have. If you don't learn to respect yourself, you can't give respect to other people. And if you look at what is happening around the world, you'll see that a lot of people want to do good. They want to lead well, but they don't have what it takes to lead well. So if you want to be a better version of yourself, you must look into civility from the approach of leadership. And at the same time, you have to look at self-respect. Now, civility is a socio-cultural system which integrates similar ideas like respectful, kindness, approach, and elegant behavior, politefulness, and gracefulness. These are the things that will help you to be a better version of yourself. So let's move from there. We'll go to civility leadership and every other thing. I hope I've been able to answer your question. How young people can be a better version of themselves. First, we look at civility and we look at self-respect. Thank you.
Civility and self-respect are really the key, the backbone where you start. We have few people. Let's go to the comment, because I see there are quite a lot of comment. People watching from a bit everywhere. We have Lilian. Lilian is watching from Switzerland. We have Shirley. Shirley is watching from Nigeria, and we have Pat. Pat is watching from South Africa. And there is a comment from Lilian. And she is saying that I personally believe that what is lacking is not enough example in their life as leaders. Many youth have parents, however, their parents are not leading by example. And their parents say one thing and they do exactly the opposite. And we cannot afford to fail the next generation. We as parents must lead by example. So what do you think about it? I know you talked about civility and starting with self-respect, but what is the place of parents into all of this to make sure that the youth are actually going to get ready to become the best version of themselves?
In fact, thank you so much. I intend going to this, and I'm so happy for that question. And we need to look at civility in leadership from home. It starts first with a family. So now, if we look at the family, I said earlier on that you can't give what you don't have. So the emerging leaders of now, I mean, the young people who are going into family and all that, and the established one, that's our parents, we need them to look critical spec at leadership from home, because charity begins at home. Now, as a father, being the head of the house, and the mother being the champion of the home and the children. Now, it all starts with when, as a father, when you learn to respect yourself. Remember, when you respect yourself, you will give that same respect to your children. You give that to your wife. Your wife give that same respect that she asked for herself. She will give that to the husband, and the husband will give, both the wife and the husband will give that to their children. Now, the children can now go ahead and give this to their community. And by so doing, we will all change the world. So now, civility is the application of good manners, etiquette, without humiliating or dehumanizing someone else in the process of causing a loss of self-respect. We need to look at good manners. Now, when I approach my kids in a good manner, by not humiliating or dehumanizing them, do you know that they will go out and also speak to people in good manners? And this is the best thing we can do as a family, as a community, as a leader, and as individuals. This is what we can do. We should incorporate the habit of helping people to be a better version of themselves by good manners, by self-politeness, and all this will help us lead in this post-pandemic era. Thank you
so much. And it's really, you know, a great, and I agree with you, Lillian. It's a great conversation, because those are important things that we don't always talk about, you know, especially now. It's all about, you know, competition is all about, even when we talk about success, we never actually talk about civility and leadership and self-respect, which is where we should start. We already start about things that are, you know, completely out of, you know, our control. So let's have a break. We will come back and continue this great conversation. And for those watching, we are talking today about the, you know, civility leadership, and we're talking to our good friend Sam Ebube from Lagos in Nigeria. So don't go anywhere. We will be back to continue this this very interesting conversation. So we are back, you know, talking about civility leadership And for those who have been, watching the show from the beginning, like Liliane is saying, it's a great conversation and a great reminder of the basic of leadership and the basic of, how we start, where we start to become the best version of ourselves. And, with leadership comes, shortcoming and also sometimes drama. We've talked about suicide, being very high in the youth, especially right now in Africa. We see a lot happening. So what do you think is causing that? Yes, there's a link with leadership, but what do you think is causing that? And what are the key things that you've been doing as a civility leader for youth to help, the youth to address that and your community in a way?
Yeah, thank you so much. Firstly, I would like us to look at civility leadership.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to say what does it take to become an agent of change or a global leader? So we need to understand that to be a leader, a global leader is a process, a very rigorous process. So there are three things that you have to be aware of. You have to be aware that you have to be intentional about what you want to be. If you want to be a leader, you have to be a great leader. Not just being a leader, you have to be a great leader. So you have to learn how to ask questions and you have to get involved. You have to participate. So this means that you have to get involved. You have to be part of that process. That's that process of what you aim to become in life by leaving an imprint that will live and will last the test of time. And this is what we want to leave. This is the legacy that we want to leave for the next generation. Now, if we look at what has happened in the past, I'd like to quickly delve into what happened some years back. Now, let's take a look at there is someone I'd like us to use as a case study. I would like us to use Mordecai as a case study here. Now, Mordecai happens to be a security man. Mordecai happens to be a security man. And there is this person, which I call is more or less like a PA, the mouthpiece of the president, the mouthpiece of the king of those years. And Haman happens to be the PA. So the PA means that is the one who comes to represent the king, the president, like we have it this day. We have someone who is the spokesperson for the president, who we call them minister for for Nigeria. We have the communication minister is the one who bring out all the informations from the president. So he's the mouthpiece of the president. Now let's look at what happened to Haman and Mordecai as a case study. Now, Mordecai happens to be the gate man, the security man. And I want every young aspiring leaders and emerging leaders and the adolescents to listen to me well. Now, Mordecai happens to be a fervent, a serious person. He works diligently, civility approach. We see this in all that he does. He does not keep quiet when he's supposed to speak. He speaks when he's supposed to speak. So now when you look at what happened, and let's reflect it back to our world today. Now, as a leader, Haman was a leader, a fearful leader that people are always scared of him. When people see him, they have to bow, they have to do eye service, they have to do a lot of eye service, they have to just to gain the attention of the leader, to be loved by the leaders. As I'm speaking, I would like you to resonate this to what you are doing, to where you work, to what you do. If you're an entrepreneur, look at your business, look at what you're doing. If you're a pastor, if you are a leader in an organization, look at it from what I'm saying. Everybody wants to be associated with you. Now, what are the skills that you need to stand tall? So we will take a case study of Mordecai and Haman. Now, Mordecai was a fervent servant. I'm going to use the word servant because leadership, it's all about when you are a leader, you have people who work under you. And from our definition, we said it's a group of an action that's an influence, either influence or action of leading a group of people. So now Haman was leading a group of people in the community He's the mouthpiece of the king. Now, there was a day people started gossiping to Haman. Now, as a leader, as an aspiring leader, as an emerging leader, be aware of gossip. Gossip has ruined a lot of people of their potentials, of their leadership. So we call them bad leaders. What actually made them a bad leaders is because they failed to identify all these trails and work on them. So this will lead us to the habits. I'm still going to come to the part of the habits, but let's take a critical look at what ruins Haman's leadership skills. Now, Mordecai was a fervent servant. Remember, we have a lot of servants that worked under Haman. But one day, Haman did not notice. So as a leader, you might not notice a whole lot of things, but you have to be very authentic with yourself. People will bring a lot of things to your table, but you have to learn how to sieve. You have to learn how to sieve all the information that comes to you as an emerging leader. So now, Haman was told by some group of people, these are the gossipers, so look out for them. Gossip is one of the toxic, is one of the major factors for toxicity in our world today. So now, when you look at it, Haman received the information, but he never learned to confirm, to sieve the information. That is what I'm telling you as a emerging leader. You must learn to sieve. Now let's look at what happened to Haman. They told Haman that, oh, whenever you are coming, people are always bowing, people are always kneeling down, people are always bowing. But there is this young man called Mordecai. He doesn't bow for you. Now, the question is, as a leader, must people bow for you? You are not there to be bowed for, no. But you are there as a leader to serve people. That is what Jesus shows us. He shows us the exemplary leadership. Wherever you see exemplary leadership all across the world, he brought it to 2,000 years ago. He came to change the narrative of leadership. So we must learn to look at leadership. We must learn to look at leadership from the perspective of servants. We must learn to be a servant as a leader. So if you want to live well, you must be ready to serve people. Now, Haman then got angry. Remember, he never noticed it. But because some group of people gossiped to him that, look at it, so he hated Mordecai. Now, hatred comes when you start listening to gossip. So as a leader, you must learn to educate people why they need to stay away from gossip, because gossip has ruined a lot of leadership skills. It has ruined a lot of great leaders by turning them to a bad leader. So if you want to be a great leader in our dispensation, in our digital era of today, you have to learn to stay out of gossip as a leader. Now, gossip ruined the life of Haman. So because gossip will give birth to hatred, to a lot of people have been sacked because someone gossiped about them to their boss. So now let's look at it. Haman incorporate that habit of self-hatred for Haman. Now, this hatred grew so fast that he didn't want to even see him. Now, where you are working, what you are doing right now, there are some people that they just hate you for no reason. We don't want this to happen in our world. We are creating a new paradigm. We are creating a new narrative. And one of the new narratives we are creating is that we want to have a gossip-free environment, a gossip-free nation. If you look at what has caused war between nations and nations in the past, you will see that somebody comes to tell the president, so country said this about you, and so country says this about you. You can imagine, you hear a news from China president saying, oh, this is what the president of America said about me. But have you find time to sieve the information before digesting it? So this is what I want to leave with young people. Learn to sieve every information. Don't just absorb all informations because it comes from someone. You might not know if that information is coming from someone who needs favorism from you. So people gossip because they want to be favored, they want to be loved by you. So as a civility global leadership that we aspire to be, from that perspective, we must learn how to sieve every information that comes from people so as to know that if this is genuine or not. Aman did not sieve the information that was brought to his table. He conceived it, and that information ruined Aman's legacy, ruins Aman's leadership, and finally, Aman ended it in a bad way. He dug something to kill his fellow human being. Remember, he's a leader, but because of the information he conceived, he dug a line for his fellow human being. We have to look at that. He's a fellow human being like me too. So why must I hate him to the point of killing him? Now, what he dug for Mordecai happens to fall back on Aman. So for every young people that is aspiring and emerging leaders, you must learn to be kind. This will bring me to the self-respect, the civility approach of leadership that we are talking about today. We said civility is a socio-cultural system which integrates similar ideas like respect for, kindness, approach, and elegant behavior, politeness, and gratefulness within. So we must learn to give what we have inside of us. And civility is one of the key approach that I would like you to incorporate into your mindset, into your system. This will help you to lead successfully in the post-pandemic era. By this, you become a champion of influence and you will leave a legacy behind for the next generation. Thank you so much.
It's a very powerful message that you just, you just shared, which is, about knowing exactly as a leader, what is a leader? Because I think a lot of people actually don't know what is a leader. So it's important to remind them what, leadership is all about and what are the key characteristics of leadership, because otherwise, and like you clearly said at the beginning, we lead at any moment. We lead in our family. We lead first ourselves. So that's the self-respect, and then the leadership that come out of it. And then we lead in our families. We live in our community. We live globally now because everybody is not connected. So it's important to really know what we need as a leader and how, whatever we're going to exhibit and whatever we're going to believe, the mindset that we're going to have is going to affect, our action and the way we lead. So it's a very important, important message that you just share. And Liliane is saying that leadership is not being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. And that's from Simon Sinek. And that's exactly what you were saying, is that, it's not about coming and expecting people to bow. It's you are here as a servant and you are here to help, to help people to grow and to become, the better person. And it's not about you imposing something or your philosophy or anything on them, which is a key thing. So, I mean, what is, you've explained all the key thing. We know all of this, but why are people are not, doing it? Because we clearly see that in a lot of countries, leadership, it's good leadership. It's kind of getting, very rare. People focus on short-term gain. People focus on, material thing. And we forget that, all of this and success in a way start with leadership. So why do you think that is happening?
Yeah, thank you so much. First and foremost, I think it is vital that we come together and collectively bring all our collective experts to ensure that we do everything we can do to support and empower the youth, especially the emerging leaders, to take up the mantles of leadership in the post-pandemic era. Now, we can't give what we don't have. This is the reason why you are creating a global awareness We need what it is what you are aware of that you get to be part of. So when this is what you're doing, and thank you for this talk show, this success engineering hour show that is really helping to educate more people. And with this, we are also creating more leadership institutes. By the grace of God, I'm sharing this first. I have a project I'm working with Dr. Clyde Rivers, with the president of I Change Nations. We are coming up with a leadership academy. It's called the ICLA. It's International Civility Leadership Academy. We want to educate young people. We want to take this leadership, civility leadership and training to schools, to different part of the world. And we believe by this is the best way we can help to educate these young people to be a better version of themselves and to lead well. Because we can't follow their old narrative where people are self-centered. Greediness has led to a lot of the African leaders. Let me talk about the African leaders at this junction, whereby everybody wants to acquire everything for themselves, forgetting that we own this together. We are all in this together. We will leave everything. We'll go to the grave without going with one single one of all these materialistic things, but rather we will leave the legacy, the imprints of the people we're able to impact positively while we are alive. So we need to look at all these things has been well said in time past. But people do not follow this narrative. It is so paramount, it is so imperial that now is the best time for us to equip the young people. Because some of these young people that I speak with every now and then, I realize that they don't know. And you can't give what you don't know. Fine, they grew up to see that leadership is like when you get to leadership, all you just want to do is to acquire for yourself. No. We are raising a selfless leadership, a selfless young mind that will live a life that will better the lives of people. And how do we achieve this? Then we have to look at some of the life-changing habits to unlock your true leadership potentials. So this is what I would like us to look at. What are the life-changing habits to unlock your true leadership potentials that is within you? What are the imprints that is lying inside of you? How do you unlock them? Unlock means that you have a key to open up what is within you. And this is, now let me share this. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits. And your habits decide your future. So do you want to know what your future will be like? Then take a quick look at your habits. I want you to take a look at what are the habits that you have to let go. Some people, they just don't know how to speak politely to people. This is the best time for you to incorporate that habit of respecting people. Be kind to people. See, let me tell you something. As human as we are, every one of us love to be respected. When you go to a place and someone addresses you kindly, politely, you will feel welcome. So for you to lead well, you have to learn to be polite with people. That is where civility comes in. Whatsoever that you do, you have to be civil. You have to be civil with people. Your approach, a lot of people are so fond of the authoritative leadership approach. It might not work in our world of today. There are times that you have to be very, 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 very mean with your approach, but you have to still consider the civility side of leadership. This will help you. When you learn to balance both, it will help you to lead well, and by so doing, you end up leaving a legacy. Now, I've come to understand that for every generation, the conversation changes. The style of music that trended in the, let's say, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, is not the style of music that is trending now. So it means that a new approach of conversation has been implemented. So likewise, we have to also implement a new approach of leadership for the now. And this is what we will leave behind for the next generation. And they will look to our leadership trails, essentials, and skills, and they will say that, wow, you guys have done well. in our own generation. And that is why we have success and greatness engineering our show, to help young people to understand some of the life-changing, life-transforming habits that has helped. Now, let me tell you something. I'm working on a new book project titled Global Leaders Creating Tomorrow. I remember I dropped a message with you about this project last year. And right now, I have over 60 world legendary CEO experts that have contributed a chapter in this book. Now, we want to take this book to students. We want to take this book to institutions, where young people, to libraries all over the world, where people will have access to all these informations. Now, I realized that what actually helped me in my own community might not be what will help you. Though we might have a relative information that will help us both, but learning from different people's perspective will definitely help someone somewhere to be a better version, to leave an imprint, to lead well in their own dispensation. So that is why I am so excited to announce that I'm working on a new book that will be coming out pretty soon, titled Global Leaders Creating Tomorrow. I have the likes of Dr. Clyde Rivers, and I have Don Green, the CEO of Napoleon Hills Foundation in the United States of America. They forward this book, and I have my friend, my brother, Dr. Raymond Hala. He wrote the introduction for this book. You can imagine what you will get from this book. You'll get life-changing information that will help you to lead. We will make this available for young people for free. We have a part where we are doing that, because we see that a lot of young people need these tools that will help them to lead now in this post-pandemic era. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. It's just, I'm blown away because, as you said, we have to, create a new approach of leadership. It's important. And this new approach has to be something that, create a legacy for the next generation. It starts with us. We have the tools, we have the experience, we have the data, and we can do that for the next generation. And I have Liliane again here, and she has few comments. She's saying, unfortunately, because of poverty, so most leaders, especially in developing countries, try to protect the maximum. We need more great leaders in this world. And at the end of the day, we are all human. And I think that's really what you were talking about. And I always say people do not change. They only wear costumes. So yes, we need the keys to unlock what is within us. And that's really where we should focus our effort, because we have so much, people have so much inside of them. They have gifts that they've never, they never actually open. And it's important to have these processes, and people like you or, anybody like me create platforms where we facilitate this process, where people can open their gift and start to put them for everybody, to create this legacy that we need for a greater leadership, and really see, and based on the civility, understand that civility is part of it. And it's an important process in this new approach of leadership that we are trying to leave to the next generation. Whoa, I'm really, it's been so much. We're gonna take a break, and then we'll come back to conclude on, we're already at the end of the show. I can't imagine it, but let's have a small break, and we will be back to finish on our subject today. So don't go anywhere. We are coming pretty soon.
Join former White House chef Marty Mangello as he brings to life colorful stories about America's presidents and first families that have occupied 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest.
Is when screaming guests are lit on fire inside the White House. So I know that everyone's thinking, like, what did he just say?
It's time to be informed and entertained with Inside the President's Cabinet. Visit the website today at www.insidethepresidentscabinet.com.
So we are back. We are back for the last, the last part of the show, and I'm blown away. I don't know who's watching right now, but it's just been such a great conversation, an important conversation that we need to have all the time, because we are at a corner, with what happened with the pandemic. We are at a corner of redefining everything. This pandemic actually gave us the opportunity to redefine things and to start from scratch, and to start with the right, the right base, and the right, and start really strong. And that's really how I see that. So before we leave the platform, and so what do you think is the key that we need to keep for ourselves today, on this conversation about global civility leadership? I mean, you've talked about what is needed, and the key place of civility in everything that we do in leadership, and also defining a new leadership paradigms, or a new leadership process for the next generation. What else do we need, especially to really cement this legacy that we want to leave?
Yeah, firstly, I would like to say that it all begins with self-respect and being an honest person. So let's look at honesty as one of the tools that is required for you to lead in the post-pandemic era. Now, a vital key to self-respect is knowledge. And that is what a Greatness Engineering Power Show is doing right now, providing you with knowledge. So we need to look at acquiring knowledge, because every tree grows. Trees grows. So for as much as tree grows, it means that we also must learn to grow on daily basis. So it means adding one vital information to what you already know, and add more, keep adding up, and this will help you to lead in this post-pandemic era. So now you must be honest with yourself and with others, valuing academics and other forms of education. So this is one additional thing I would like to also add. Now, the central tenet of a leader is to ensure a predictable progress in its followership or society. So leadership requires the deployment of specific skills. Now I'm talking about essentials, trails that enables optimal functionality. So these are the things that will help young people in our world today to lead in this COVID era. So the growth of a society is largely dependent on its leadership. Like you said the other time, it is so paramount that it is needed like now. So to ensure progress, leadership skills also require a level of dynamicity to allow systems to propagate. In these rapid changing times, the ability of global civility and flexibility, authenticity, and adaptable is critical, important for young people of our now leaders to acquire. And this is why we are here today to tell the young people that we need to look at leadership from a civility approach, from a civility lens. When we tend to look at leadership, leading in this post-COVID era from a civility lens, we will realize that we will lead confidently, and everyone that is human, that is on earth, will be glad that they are part of this generation, not the other way around. Thank you.
It's and the civility lens, it's important because we've lost all of this. I still remember, I mean, I'm not young, but we used to have those civic, courses at school, and they've all disappeared. And yet it's an important part of leadership. It's an important part of us growing as human being, and us, putting something into the world and leaving a legacy, leaving a trail for the next generation. So those are the kind of things that still need to, to be addressed and come back, because we really need it. And there's another question from from Liliane. She's been very active today. I have one question. She said, where and how does the youth of the developing world and those of the developed world meet? Leadership in those two continents overlap. So where and how do we meet, and how can their parents' guidance play a role in leading by example? And so what do you think? Is it something that we can address, or is it something that we just have to work with? And how do we work with it?
Yeah, now we are all creating a new paradigm of thinking. I think we all, both the established leaders and the emerging leaders, I want to say a huge shout out to Dr. Clyde Rivers, and he's been championing this cause to help young people emerge and to lead prospectfully in their field. And I want to say thank you, Dr. Clyde Rivers. And now what I want to say is that for the emerging and established leaders, there are a whole lot of things that we need to do now. We can't leave it for tomorrow. It has to be done now. And we need to learn how to listen. Now, listening is one of the key tools that will help us all right now. Now, part of learning self-respect and civility involves respecting the beliefs of other people. Now, I must learn to respect your own belief system. So what you believe in, what I believe in, you can see, I relate with a whole lot of people all around the world. Some of them are Muslims, some of them are Christians, some of them are not even both. So now, when you have that leadership trails, skills, and essentials, it will help you to relate with people all across the world. So now when you look at it, learning and how to apologize, this is another skills that is needed, that is required of you. You must learn how to apologize. Some people don't know how to apologize. Some people don't even know how to say sorry. Some don't even know how to say thank you. So we need to incorporate these new skills into our leadership skills and approach. And by so doing, we'll leave this with the next generation. Learning and how to apologize. Accepting responsibility involves formally apologizing for wrongdoings and striving to make amends. This is what we need in today's era. We need to learn how to apologize. When someone offends you, you must learn to forgive, and you must learn to quickly apologize. When you offend, learn to apologize. And when people apologize, you must learn to quickly forgive and let go. By doing so, we will stimulate what we call love. And we can only give love when you have it within you. So you can't give what you don't have. So for every emerging and aspiring leaders and established leaders, we must learn to be authentic also. As in, we need to let the young people know that this thing is not the way you think it is. See, look at it now. If you look at my picture on Facebook, on my social platforms, you will know that it took me 50 shots to get that one perfect picture that you see. So people don't know what is behind. So we need to let the youths, we need to let the young people know that what you see that glitters is not gold. Even gold itself passes through a stage of a burning fire before it becomes that shining and gold that looks befitting to the eyes. So we need to be authentic and let people know that the way you see me shining today, I've gone through what I call it a down season. It's a season whereby things will look unrealistic. It will not look as if it will come out shining bright as gold is. But you have to let people know that I am still a work in progress. We all are still in work in progress. The president still needs someone's help. So that is how God has designed us. So we must learn to know that we all are carrier of medicine. So you might not know the one you are carrying. It might be the one that will save someone's life from depression. It might be the one that will save someone's life from anxiety. It might be the one that will save someone to lead in a post-pandemic era. And I want to say thank you so much for creating greatness engineering. You are really engineering and championing a great cause to humanity. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. And I'm just, it gives me so much pleasure when I have, people like you, young leader who actually take, this cause to the next level. To really create an impact and leave a legacy, because that's what it's all about, leave this legacy and leave nobody behind, because this legacy is about the legacy that we're going to all create together. And I really like, what you said is that we are all still, we still all work in progress. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect. You can be the president, you're not perfect. You can be the leader and lead 1 or 2 million people. You're not perfect. You still have to learn. You still have to grow, and you have to open your space for that. And that's and that's why I always tell people, we all have diamond in the making. We know that diamond start really, they're very dirty, and then we are all, becoming diamond as we grow, as we take, those as we go through those failures, as we go through those challenges, as we go through those obstacles that are in front of us. And that's how, we build, that's how we create, something that is also like a diamond, because we're going through the process to become diamond, and then we are living diamond on the floor. So it has been amazing. And really, I don't even want to stop the conversation, because I know you have so much to say, but we're getting to the end of the show, and I want to know, how do people get in contact with you if they want to continue to the conversation with you, or if they want to help you join your cause, or help you in a way to continue this mission that you have, because it's a very important mission. And I hope a lot of people are going to actually try to understand exactly what you do and join you in this process, because we are all in it together, like you said. So let us know.
I would like to say that for all emerging, aspiring young leaders, the youth and the adolescents all across the world, we have an institution, an academy that is coming up to help you to be a better version of yourselves, where we have other world leaders. I have other well-renowned leaders that will be coming to impart you alongside with myself and other people as well. I would just like you to follow me on Facebook, Sam Ebube, on Instagram at official Sam Ebube. And you can also send me an email. And so this will help us to track your email and send you other further information at samebube@gmail.com. Sam, PSALMEBUBE music@gmail.com. So with this, we can send other informations to you, or probably just follow my page on Facebook, Sam Ebube. And once you do this, we'll from there, or go to my website, samebube.org. We'll from there give you other information that is needed. Now, before I go, I want to leave this with young people. Now, civility leadership is important. The reason why the topic of today, global civility leadership, is important is because it puts other people at ease. Now, let's look at it from this angle, that when we put every other people at ease, you will learn to enjoy your time with other people. It softens the hearts of men and helps build strong relationships. That is the importance of civility leadership. It softens the hearts of men. And when the hearts of men is softened, you know what happens? You get everything that you want. You live happily, you lead well, and you govern the people well. Thank you so much for having me on the show today.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. I'm just so excited that I've been able to bring you after, so long, and to share this important message, because it has been amazing. I think it's been a great conversation. And for those who are watching, or those who are going to watch the replay, please share this message. It's a very important message. People have to understand what civility is all about, and the place that we need to, to give to civility, especially as we want to be leaders. Because if we want to be the leaders that we're looking for, it has to be at the center of civility. Start with, our self-respect, and then, there's the manners, and also as usual, the mindset that we have that is important, and looking at leadership and civility from a servanthood point of view. And that's a key one. So for the audience, thank you so much, Lillian, for your contribution. As usual, your insights are really, spot on and help us to progress the conversation. I really appreciate. And for every other, people in the audience, thank you for your time and for following, because as Sam was saying, it's all about, this show is about you. This show is about education. We need this education to grow. I bring you the best so that, you can learn from them, get the information. But what I expect from you, please bring it to the next level. Participate, join the mission, join the movement, or, implement something that will help, the leadership to go to the next level, and for you to go to the next level of greatness and continue this movement of greatness engineering that I live for. So thank you so much, and have a great week for everybody. And thank you again, Sam, for everything. You are amazing, and
I celebrate you honestly. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. So I'll be back at the end of the week for another episode of the Greatness Engineering Hour show. Until then, you all take care, and I'll see you, I'd see you at the end of the week. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.